What you're about to watch is a secret masterclass training that I did. I was teaching a couple people how I got in really good shape by simply eating foods that helped me burn fat. Enjoy.
Cool. So yeah, pretty much like I wanted to just kind of like break down some of the numbers and stuff for you guys of like things that I've been using that has been like extremely helpful with kind of like my fitness journey. Cause I don't know if you've, well, I'm sure you've seen like on Instagram and stuff. I just been kind of like taking photos, showing some updates of my workout stuff. And literally in like the past 2 months, like went from like super like schlubby, and I can say it because I'm talking about myself here, but went from like just thinking I was kind of in shape. I don't know if like the photo does it justice there. I don't know. It's
No justice.
no justice. There we go. So it's like literally that was like a couple months ago. And then like as you've been seeing like the photos and stuff on Instagram, it's like six pack abs and energy levels are doing pretty good. I literally feel like I've like gained like a couple years back on my life. Like, you know, a reverse aging or whatever that bull crap is. And literally like it's not even like it does require a bit of discipline. I'm gonna like put a bit of disclosure there, but it's like not complicated at all. Because quick like life update for you guys. So I was like engaged and stuff to get married. The relationship like it ended up not really like working out too well. Financially, stuff's been like a bit tight, and I had to like start getting a job at Amazon, doing like crazy, like literally I'd start work at like 6:30 p.m., get done at 7 a.m. And that would be like 3 days out of the week. And then I'd grab three more 10-hour shifts during the week. So I'm like working 6 days a week, 60 hours. I still want to work out and I still need to find time to eat and like sleep and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this fitness thing while still finding time to like shower and go to work and stuff like that? And it was kind of like in that space of like needing to really simplify things down that I kind of came up with this little bit of like a system here for getting in crazy good shape. And the thing that's interesting is it also came out of a place of needing to, so I said like financially tight with things. I had this idea because when I was sitting down and trying to do like my finances, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, if I make this much a week at Amazon and I make this much per hour, and if I'm spending this much on groceries, and then if I go out and get gas, and if I got rent that's this much per month, and I'm trying to also pay off this line of credit that's like $200 a month, and I also owe this like, just trying to describe it. It's like crazy amount of just like headspace stuff. Um, and I was like, I can't be walking around all day with all these numbers in my head. So I had to simplify it and crunching all these numbers. I was like, okay, what do I got to do? How can I make this simpler so I'm not just walking around all day with like all these digits on my mind? And I found out that I was like, okay, well, if I go to work 5 days a week, I'm good. I don't got to worry about how much I'm paying per month on rent. I don't have to worry about how much I'm paying per utilities. I don't have to worry about what I'm paying for food. If I go to work 5 days a week, I'm set. And that had me thinking, I'm like, how could I apply that to like fitness stuff? And literally these like three numbers, um, I'm like writing out the kind of like acronym stuff here for it. And if you guys have like notes and things, you could definitely write this down. And of course, I'm recording this, so you've got that. But I found that like these three numbers for, so this says BMR. You calculate the BMR, the DW, and the DPI. Once you know those three numbers, you're pretty much set with getting in crazy good shape. Now, obviously, like I will go into a little bit of depth of like what these letters and stuff means. But the thing that's really cool is with these three numbers, like I don't know if you've ever seen like CSI Miami or like NCIS or whatever, but you know when they're like you got the guy that's holding the hostage on the phone, he's like the bad guy. He's like, I need a ransom of $20,000. And then like the police officers are on the other end and they're like triangulate the phone call, triangulate it. And it's like triangle, they're getting points from three different satellites to find the specific location of the person. And these three numbers, it's kind of like the same exact thing. You get the three numbers, and then like at the center of that is like, as long as you follow these three things, it takes all the guesswork out of stuff. It's kind of like the story I was saying with like, I just got to work 5 days a week. I got to worry about anything else. I got to go to work 5 days. Everything else is handled. Fitness stuff, these three numbers, everything else is handled. So what these three things stand for. So BMR stands for basal metabolic rate. Basically, what that means is how many calories are you just burning naturally throughout the day. DW stands for your desired weight, basically how much do you want to weigh? And then DPI stands for daily protein intake. So these numbers, I was thinking like with this recording and stuff, like, and I'll ask you guys to like get off of mute and stuff. We can ask questions back and forth. I was thinking like we would go through calculating out these numbers, and by the end of it, you'd be left with that single number, you know, like the Amazon store, you'd be left with the 5 or whatever the single number is. And with that number, it'll help you guys get on the path to getting some crazy cool results. So I think you guys are still muted right now, but you know, if you just nod your head yes, I will feel that energy, and we'll we'll keep moving. But yeah, are there any like questions and stuff so far before we go into the first part?
So, first, how do you spell basal metabolic rate? Basal?
Yeah, BASAL.
Okay.
And then metabolic. I'm not going to bother
Yep,
to try to.
I got that.
I have that. I have that one written down, so I could just like read it off. But
No, yeah, I got it. But like, I just need the basal part. Okay, and basal metabolic rate, desired weight, daily protein. Like, I'm curious to see how these numbers work together. This is really cool. Also,
right,
let me just comment. You're nailing this presentation. This is cool.
Thanks, man. It's just literally just I'm just literally just saying what like the bull crap that I've been through for the past while. So you know, speaking from the heart. So
Yeah.
for the first number, and I also got a preface too, as we're going into these numbers, like you know that guy from Sesame Street, the Count, you know, the Count Dracula, the number guys. A lot of people I know, we don't like math. It gets scary, to be honest. Like, I'm a big math guy. I love it because then like it's always a definite, you either followed the numbers or you didn't. You know, in English class, you could debate whether the meaning of so-and-so painting the fence, what it represented. No, it's bullcrap. So with this, it's like you're left with a number, you follow that number. That's what I like about it, but I know numbers can kind of scare people sometimes. So like, as we're going into this, there will be some heady stuff, and it's like, it feels like a lot of brain jargon. But by the end of it, it'll be super simplified. And you like all the stuff prior is just going to lead to like a single, very simple thing to follow. Cool. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, just in case you guys get stressed out where it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much math. But trust me, it'll make it easier at the end. So for the basal metabolic rate, this is a very important thing to have first, because a lot of times when people go to the gym or when they're eating and they're trying to count calories and things like that, they're doing it through the perspective of like, okay, if I go to the gym and I burn 1,000 calories, and that means if I eat 2 cookies and it's 250 calories, like it's kind of some stressful stuff. But like your body naturally, like not a lot of people like know this, but your body is just like naturally burning calories throughout the day. When you're sleeping, you're burning calories. When you're sitting on the couch, you're burning calories. And it's possible to actually like leverage this like natural furnace within your body and do certain things to manipulate your metabolism. So you're burning more calories, which means you can literally just be not doing much, and you're losing fat. Your body is like like using calories and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. So by knowing what your current basal metabolic rate is, it'll help you to understand how much food you should be eating. And also, like really cool thing is that you can then use that number to quite literally like predict when you will be at like a 6-pack level and how long it will take to get there. Because some programs are like, get a 6-pack in 90 days. And it's like, they don't, how the hell are you going to know? Like, you don't know that, you know? And there's other programs where it's like, lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks. And it's like, maybe if you're 300 pounds or something, you know, it's like, but with this, it's like putting the power in your hands, and you'll actually see exactly how much you should be eating and how long it will take to get to your desired weight. So since it's just us guys here, it'll make it a little easier, because there's actually 2 formulas that you can use to determine your BMR. Depends on if you're a guy or a girl, but since we're all guys here, we'll just use the one. And in the chat, I'm actually going to paste a link, and you can just like plug these numbers into this website and it'll just like spit it out for you, so you don't have to have your calculator out. So the equation that I'm going to use is called the Mifflin your equation. I might be pronouncing the guy's last name wrong, but he found out exactly how to determine within like a close range of what your body's going to be burning naturally. So I'm going to write it on here. So to get your BMR, it's going to be 10, and you're going to multiply it by your current weight. And then you're going to add that to 6.25 times your height. You're going to subtract it by 5 times your age. I'm running out of room on this thing as I'm writing it. And then you're just going to add 5. So I'll show that. So that's a 10. It looks like a P, but that's a 10 right there. As you guys are kind of like writing this out, and you can even, like I said, go on the website there. I think that's really cool that I want you guys to pay attention to is that a thing that's interesting is when you adjust how active you are, it'll actually influence how many calories you're naturally going to be burning. So when you get this number, there's like a second part to the equation as well. So I'm kind of going through these numbers on the fly here. So I'm like trying to make sure that I'm going through it correctly. So if you are, let's say, super busy with work's also like not too active or whatever, if you would consider yourself a fairly like sedentary person, you'll take this number and you'll multiply it by 1.2. So pretty sedentary, you'll multiply it by 1.2. Let's say you're like kind of active, you either do like light exercise in the gym or maybe some type of like sport thing, like occasionally like throw basketball around with friends or like frisbee or something like that. If you do that like 3 to 5 days a week, you'll multiply the BMR by 1.375. And then if you're moderately active, so you're hitting the gym maybe like 3 to 5 days a week, you'll multiply it by 1.55. And then if you're like really active, either like when you go to the gym, you go to the gym hard, or you're going to the gym like 6 to 7 days a week, you'll multiply it by 1.725. And then, there we go, 1.725. And then like, if you're like super extremely active, you're going to work in the morning and it's like super labor intensive, and then you hit the gym later that day and you're doing this like every day throughout the week, then you'd multiply the BMR by 1.9. So like I said, this beginning part, trust me, it's a lot of heady numbers and stuff, but it's going to get a bit simpler. But
Can you pull the whole thing? Yeah, pull the whole thing in front of the camera.
yeah,
Cool. Got it.
so it goes kind of like from least active to like the most extremely active. And you would get the final number by doing this top equation and then multiplying that n number by one of these guys down here.
So I got from the site, it spit out like 1696 calories a day. And then, like it has the options for like workout level, right? So like, and is it just automatically applying these numbers to the like for maintenance, it says 1696 calories per day for basal metabolic rate. And then, yeah, that's just,
So
can you just, that's the number, right? Like the maintenance number when you just do like basal metabolic rate on the site.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure the maintenance number would be the number you get after like, pardon me, the coffee's coming back up. Yeah, so the maintenance number should be the one that you get after calculating all of this stuff together. And
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about like the fat loss one just yet. I will be going into that in a second, just to kind of like explain some of the numbers there. But I just want to make sure we first got like the first part.
Yep, I got it.
Cool. So I think that's really neat with this is you can play with the numbers a bit. So let's say, right now you did the 1.2 for the sedentary, but you get a routine together and you're going to be hitting the gym 5 days a week. When you go into that calculator and you change it, you'll see that the amount of calories for maintenance and fat loss and stuff, it's going to go up, which is pretty cool. Because what that is telling you is that your body is naturally going to be burning more calories every single day. Because there's this kind of like downward spiral that a lot of people get themselves into. I make the joke that it's like the California diet, where it's just like you just keep eating less and then you keep eating less and keep eating less. And I've literally witnessed this happen where someone that I know, they're like, yeah, I just keep not eating. And like every time I eat, I feel like I keep putting on weight. And it's like, yeah, because you're starving yourself. Like your body wants to, like you get the food and then it's like, I got to preserve all of this as energy because I don't know when I'm going to be getting nutrients later. And you don't want to get your body into that state of being of starving. You want to eat to the point where you're providing your body with the amount of fuel it needs to like repair itself. But then like anything past that, you don't really, for the most part, a lot of us, I think, more so struggle with overeating than we do with undereating. But I just wanted to like disclose that because in my opinion, I think it's way better to just try to be more active and continue to give yourself a like more wiggle room with how much you can eat, because that means you're getting the proper nutrients that your body needs. Because like when you keep eating less and you keep eating less, then you're restricting your body with the nutrients that it needs to recover and function and things like that. So yeah, if that makes sense. But the thing that's really cool is, so let's say you find out that the maintenance number. So wait, Phil, you said yours was 1695?
1696.
16, never mind. That's not going to work then. No, I'm joking. So 1696. If you were to just cut out, so and it said that that's what it was for maintenance.
Yeah.
So there's two cool things that you could do. You could either do the one thing that I said, where it's like you can increase the amount of activity that you do throughout the week, or you could simply like cut out 300 calories from what you're eating. And I feel like 1696 is like a bit low. So I definitely would recommend like, throwing in some like physical activity stuff there. But let's just say we go the route of cutting out 300 calories. 300 calories is literally like, I can go in my cupboard right now. I can pull out a granola bar. I guarantee
So
it's
like what it says, like what sorry, not to cut you off, but there's basal and like or metabolic rate, and then there's an option for little or no exercise. So I'm doing little exercise. That's like, that's probably like the closest, like maybe I'll do something once a week, but for that, the maintenance is 36 calories a day.
So for the little to no exercise, it says 2036. Okay, cool. Yeah, my bad. The website's a little, because like a true basal metabolic rate is like your body's just how much energy is it using just to like continue to keep you alive. I should have prefaced that a little bit. So it's obviously like, you're moving, you're thinking right now. I'm standing right now. It's like, so the true basal metabolic rate is, it's like you're absolutely not doing anything and you're just staying alive. And so yeah, so the little or no exercise is that one's definitely going to be more accurate.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that's 36 calories a day.
2036. Okay, cool. So then perfect. Yeah. So we can use the 300 example. I feel like that would work then. So yeah, if you were to cut out 300 calories every single day, and like I was saying, it's like granola bar. I can grab a granola bar. I bet it says 300 calories. There's even some juices that are like 250 calories. And if you keep track of that and you just choose to not have that single thing that's 300 calories, by the end of the week, that's 2,100 calories that you've chosen to not consume. But it's also 2,100 calories that your body burnt off just for existing. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you're using 2,000, whatever that number was, 2,061 calories every day, but you're only consuming like 1,700 and whatever the math was. If you're only consuming 1,700, but your body is burning 2,000, it's simple math. You've just burned 2,100 calories in a week by simply just skipping the one thing. And what's really cool is that, let's say you go to the gym, or you have like a fitness watch, something that can like track your calories, your heart rate, and your steps and stuff like that. If you were to go for like just a casual like 30-minute jog, like you don't like, doesn't have to be nothing crazy, but let's say you're going out, you're getting physical activity, walking to the point where on your like little activity tracker, it says you've just burned 300 calories. If you've cut out the 300 and then you did some light activity that allowed you to burn 300, and you do that every single day, let's see, I've got the math. I thought I had the exact number. Well, it's pretty much, so it's like, it would be 4,200 calories. I was trying to see what the exact number of calories it is that equals like a pound of fat. But something as simple as cutting something out and just going for a walk or a light movement-based activity that allows you to burn an additional 300 calories, you're now burning 600 calories every single day. And then at the end of the week, that's 4,200 calories, which comes out to about a pound of fat worth of calories every single week, which is like pretty cool. Like, it doesn't sound too complicated. And that's the point. That's how these numbers are starting to get a little bit simpler. And I think that's neat as well, is like the opposite of this is also true. Like if you wanted to build muscle, you could just add in a thing that is an additional 300 calories, or you cut down your workouts so you're not burning so many calories during the workout. That way you have more calories to use towards building muscle and things like that. Isn't that pretty neat?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. So I wonder, I can share my screen because it's Zoom. Fantastic. So for this next part, so we've got the basal metabolic rate. This is kind of like that foundational thing that we need to understand. We've got the number. We know that for like that maintenance number, as long as you don't go over that, and if you stay under it, then you are on the fast track to losing some fat, getting closer to a six-pack. Because all this stuff right here, some people, they like talking numbers to get people to be more strong or get more athleticism. I'm like, screw that. Let's look hot, It's like that's why we're doing. That's why people go to the gym. And I lied to myself for the longest time. I had a personal trainer when I was younger, and he was like, so what do you like, what are your goals and this and that? And I was like, I want to get stronger. But I kept like asking him for these exercises that would help with like losing fat. But I thought only women wanted to lose fat. So I was really self-conscious about that. But it's like, screw it. It's like, if you want to work out to look good, let's work out to look good. So now for the desired weight. I don't know if you can see the photos of these six packs. Is that showing up? You can see them. Cool. And just let me know if it's not super clear. So now for the second part, it should be the desired weight. So I just wanted to show this here real quick, because before we move forward, I want you guys to kind of use these photos as like reference. It's not the most extremely accurate way of determining one's current body fat percentage, but I feel that it does a pretty accurate job. So by using these photos as like reference, just like keep in mind, and you can even like write it down. So looking at the physiques, like, do you feel you're closer to like 13 to 15% or like 16 to 19%? And if you're not too sure, I have more photos down here for reference of like what a 15% or like closer to like 20, 25% looks like.
I'd say for me, like 15%, probably.
15%. Okay. For like, cool. Yeah. Because I was looking, I was like, yeah, they're both pretty accurate. So 15%. David's not even, he's laughing at us. He's like, bro, I'm at the 3 to 4. So like, he's like, I don't even need this. I'm just here to encourage you guys along the way. So yeah, these photos, like I actually, like, these are the exact photos I used when I was kind of starting off. And with the photo that I had tried showing, I felt like I was closer to like, let's see what I wrote down, because I tried keeping notes during that time. So yeah, I felt like I was around like the 16 to 19% range. So I kind of like leaned more on like the higher side when I was doing these numbers. And I said that like my body fat percentage was like 18%. And in that photo, I weighed around like 180 pounds at the time. So that meant I had about 32.4 pounds of fat on my body. And if I wanted to get visible abs, this meant that I needed to reach a body fat percentage of like at least 10 to 12%. And when I was doing the math and stuff, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a second, when I was doing the math, that meant I needed to lose around like 15 pounds of fat. So for my desired weight, if I kept as much muscle as possible and I only lost 15 pounds of fat, then that meant my desired weight would be around 165. And the thing that's crazy is I weigh like 165 now. I was like, holy crap, that actually, I was like, I don't know. If it felt like, when you're like investing or whatever, and you're like, I think the stock's going to go up, and then it does. And it's like, holy crap, look at that. Fantastic. But this is way more predictable than trying to, cheat the stock market or whatever. So these are really like important numbers to be considering with like the desired weight and body fat percentage, because if you're cutting the 300 calories from your diet and then you're also burning 300 calories per day in the gym, that means you're burning about like a pound of fat a week. So for me to lose 15 pounds, I would expect it to take about 15 weeks to reach that desired weight. And if I, let's say, burned more calories in the gym, then, I was able, I could expect to reach that goal even faster. So how do you exactly calculate these numbers? Well, the first thing you would do is you would take your current weight, and then let's see. I'm gonna pause right here. Of course, I should have just like upgraded for the Zoom thing free. It says it's gonna take like, it's gonna cut off in 10 minutes. I'm thinking I just send you guys a link right after I write down this formula, and we'll just continue part 2, if that sounds cool.
Cool.
Cool. So for the desired weight, yeah, you would take your current weight, and then you would multiply that by the body fat percentage. So obviously, so 15%, it would be, you'd take your current weight and you multiply it by 0.15. So like in reality, it would be like 15 divided by 100 times your current weight or whatever. But you know what I mean? So like another example, so it's like if you weigh 150 and you're at like 20% body fat, then you take 150 multiplied by 0.2. If you're 190 and you're at 15% body fat, you would take 190 multiplied by 0.15. And the number that you'd be left with is the amount of fat. Oops. The number that you'd be left with is the amount of fat in pounds that you're like currently carrying on your body. And the next step is you kind of do like the same thing, except instead of multiplying your current body fat percentage, you'll actually take your current weight and multiply it by your desired body fat percentage. So to make it easy, we'll just say like 10%, because that 10 to 12% range is where you kind of get like more of like a lot more visible like abs, more visible muscles. So just to say it again. So I just kind of wrote like your current weight, and you'll multiply it by the desired body fat percentage. So it's literally just current weight times 0.1, just to make things easy.
Would it be times 0.9?
I don't think so.
Because your current weight times 170, like times 0.1 would be like I'm 170, right? Like 17 pounds. So to get there, I would need to be at, and then like, so this is confusing me a little bit because like I'm
oh, I think I see here. Wait, so because there's like another, I think you are right. I think I added an extra step where you would take your current weight and then you would take, so I wish I had like one of the things behind me.
Yeah, so you take your current weight, multiply it by your current your like your body fat. So let's say like 170 times 0.2, right? So that's 34 pounds of fat. And then if I want to get from 34 to like, if you want to get from 20% to 10%, then I take half of that, and so like my body without fat is 136 pounds, right? That'd be like 0. So then I add back 17.
You don't want to be at 0, but
yeah,
I see.
Yeah, but like if I add back 17, right, like from like to be at 10%, then I'm at like 153 or something, and that would be my body weight with 10% body fat.
I think I see where you're going with it. If anything, like there's probably like multiple ways to go about the approach for it. So like the way that I did it was like the current weight times the body fat percentage equals the amount of fat in pounds that you're carrying. Yep. And then if you take the current weight and you multiply it by the desired body fat percentage and you subtract this number from it, then it tells you like how much fat you need to lose. I think that the number might come out negative. Perfectly fine.
No, I think that works.
And then all you would do then is take that number. I'm just going to put a little pound sign there. Yeah, so then you would take this number and you take your current weight. subtract it by that, and then you'd get the desired weight.
Hmm.
I think that's
Yeah, I think I mean, there's stuff you can do with the formulas here, like make them like positive and stuff. But I
yeah,
think I'd arrive at the destination. So
yeah, because it's like technically you wouldn't be subtracting. If you subtract a negative, then it would make it positive. But it's like,
yeah,
but I'm happy. Okay, cool. I thought I was like, we can talk more in detail. It'll be like, how can we make this simpler? Because this is literally just the way that I did it. So I was like,
yeah,
I'll just show that. But okay. Did it come out like so do you want to run through yours real fast, and then
sure, yeah.
we'll take a
So
pause and then resume part 2.
sure, yeah. So my current weight 170. Multiply that by like I just up myself to 0.2 because like I probably don't look as good as I think I do.
It's
um,
okay. Confidence.
and
I
then
like it.
so that's 34 pounds, right? So then I'm carrying 34 pounds of weight, of fat. And then if I want to cut that in half, then I divide that by 2 and add that back, right? So like 170 minus 34 is 136, plus 17, which is half as much fat, is 146, 153. So like 153 pounds to be the desired weight.
Well, I'm starting to, I think I see now what you were talking about with like the cutting in half thing, because you were talking about referring to like the body fat percentage and then the desired percentage, right? Like, okay, I see what yeah. I think for some people though, like if there's like 15%, then like cutting it in half would then be like less than
Well,
the
like
10%.
whatever, like we can talk more about that later, but like no matter like because if you're multiplying, I think like I see what you're like aiming to arrive at, but just like as written, I think that the formulas are not gonna land someone there by but so
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like, so what was the end weight was
153.
153. Cool. And that should be like a pretty good like lean weight as well. Because I'm trying to think what a lot of people were like, I'm sure you may have heard of like BMI, like body mass index. A lot of people, they're like, it's not accurate, it's stupid, because let's say you're 5'9" and 200 pounds of pure muscle. It says your BMI, you're obese. And I'd argue and say, like, yeah, being 5'9", 200 pounds of muscle, that's still not good for you. It's like you're still carrying a crap ton of weight, whether it's fat or muscle. You're still 200 pounds, So like, so I just like pulled up Google for BMI stuff right now. Is it cool if I ask like age and height and things like that?
Sure, yeah, 29, 5'7".
29. And then what's your height?
5'7".
5'7". I thought you said 0.7. I was like, what? 153. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's always cool is you can always take that number and then you plug it into a BMI calculator. And if you're in like a good range, if you're in like a normal range, then that's fantastic. Because like I've had people where for Easter, I visited my family and my cousin's boyfriend, he's big into like boxing and whatever, fighting stuff. And he's like, yo, man, you're getting big. What are you like? You must be like 185. And I was like, I'm like actually 165. He was like, holy crap, you're like that's not healthy. But I plugged it in the BMI thing. I'm actually like smack dab in the middle. So it's perfectly fine. So before this cuts us off, I'm just going to end the meeting and then I'll send you guys a text with the new link. Sound good?
Sounds good. Yep.
Cool. See you guys in a sec.
Yep.
Sweet. So now we can kind of hop right back into it. So I'm pretty sure where we just left off, it was like the whole thing of the desired weight and the body fat percentage. Right? Because yeah, 153 is within that BMI. And David, I'll send you the recording stuff too. So like any of the stuff that you missed prior, you'll be able to just go back to that, pull it up. And then if there's any questions, you can always just like text me or whatever. So the big thing with the whole like desired weight experiment or exercise there is to just continue to give that understanding of like how long it might take for you to reach that point to get to a point of having some like visible abs or just like more muscle definition, things like that. Because like I said, it's better to have like more of like a custom approach that is like tailored to where you're currently at in your journey than to just throw out some like in 90 days, best shape of your life type of thing. because like honestly, like if you have like the exercises plus like the diet and stuff dialed in, then like if anything, you can expect to get those results sooner. So like if the thing, so I think I remember you said it was like 17 pounds to lose. So if it was a pound per week, that's 17 weeks. And assuming every month is about 4 weeks, it can take some time. Like I know for the math for me, it said 15 weeks, but I went from like that photo to kind of like the physique that I'm at now. And it only took like 2 months because I think like January I started working at Amazon. And it's pretty like physically intensive and stuff like that. But when the food stuff's right and you got like the proper exercises going, you can definitely expect to potentially like cut that time in half. And it goes back to the stuff of like increasing the metabolism and things like that. When you got the proper food, doing the proper exercises, it's kind of just like doing subtle tweaks to like a car, makes it more aerodynamic, and it can just like start to go. So we've got the BMR, we know what we're currently burning. We've got the desired weight, the place that we know we're going to be getting to. And then last but not least, we're going to calculate the daily protein intake. And this is literally like the easiest part to calculate, because all you got to do is you just take your current weight and you multiply it by 1.2. And what you'll have is the amount of grams of protein that you need to eat every single day in order to preserve and build the most amount of muscle possible, while also losing fat as efficiently as possible. The only caveat is that like I don't think any of us are like over the 25% body fat area. But if someone's like really overweight, then that number could throw things off a bit. But we should all be fine. So like, let's say someone is over 25% body fat, then all they would do is just take their current weight, and that would be the amount of protein that they would need to eat daily. So when I was starting this, I was 180 pounds. So I multiplied that by 1.2 and I got 216. So this meant that I needed to make sure I was eating 216 grams of protein every day in order to lose the most amount of fat while also preserving and building the most amount of muscle possible. But if you're trying to gain weight, for example, you would just take the weight that you want to be at, and that's what you would multiply by 1.2, if that makes sense. So if you want to weigh 200 pounds, but you currently weigh 180 pounds, you would just take 200 and multiply it by 1.2. And
so you take current weight, you multiply it by the body fat percentage. Like, so like you take the like 1.2, right? So 1.2, then multiply one by 1.2. Then you get 204. And that's what grams of protein to eat per day. Current weight times 1.2 equals DPI. Okay.
Yeah. So the number, like, there's a whole bunch of studies that people have done where it's like, how much protein should you eat based on the kilograms of your body weight or just the amount of pounds of body weight and this and that. And I don't know, there's a lot of debate about, it's like, oh, well, if you eat too much protein, don't you just poop out the rest and things like that? And like, literally, like, I've had more problems not eating enough protein than I've ever had problems of eating too much protein. And this number is like perfectly in the range of both achievability and I thought I could think of another cool word there, but you're not going to be wasting the amount of protein, because like it is true. If you eat too much, your body can only like utilize a certain amount. But with like this number, especially like with this number, especially with like the exercising and the cutting down on the calories, you definitely want to make sure that like better safe than sorry of having the protein over than having the protein like under. Some people say like, oh, just eat the like 1-to-1 ratio. How much you weigh is how much grams protein. But I feel like 1.2 is pretty good, especially on days if you're feeling sore, then it's like your body's going to more utilize the protein that's in your system. So it's like, may as well get it accustomed to that than have it used to not having enough, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So the thing that's pretty cool is like, so literally like this was like one of the single number things I was talking about before, like the Amazon story, like, oh, work 5 days a week. This was like the main focus. So when I was trying to like figure out what I was going to eat, how much I was going to eat, this was the first number. I'm like, am I hitting this number every single day. So if you focus on making your meals hit that protein goal while also staying under that calorie range for the BMR, you're golden. You know, you're pretty like that's like halfway there in terms of getting the results. That's exactly what I did. So like I knew that as long as I had 216 grams protein every single day, like whether or not I worked out, I was hitting my goal and it was helping me get towards that six pack. You know, some people are like, oh, I missed a day in the gym, and then they're feeling all down and out. Like, sure, it might just make the process take a little bit longer, but it didn't take me off track. You know, it's like, okay, I'm still on my way there. Darn, I could have burnt like a couple 100 calories today extra, but I didn't. But I knew as long as I was hitting this, and I also knew that as long as I didn't go over those calories, my body's doing the rest of the work for me. Now, so now that you like have this number, the part where it does get difficult is the stuff with the eating the food, trying to go grocery shopping and all that stuff. And literally like what I ended up doing. So like, as I was saying, 60-hour work week, like on days that I work, I literally have like 2 hours to wake up, go to the gym, shower, and also includes the time of like driving to work and stuff. So I'm like, I don't have time to grocery shop. I don't have time to cook. And like, lo and behold, there was an Instagram ad that popped up for this meal prep company. And I was like, you know what? Let me look into that. And I was doing the math for it. And like, I think their thing was like, comes out to like 10 or 11 bucks per meal or something like that. And you think like 10, 11 bucks, that's kind of expensive-ish. And I'm just saying like what I did at the time. But when I was crunching the numbers, I was like, I spend like on average around like maybe like $1,000-ish for like food or like going out, drinks or whatever. Like I didn't really drink or whatever, but like, you know, like boba tea or something like that. And I was like, okay, so $1,000 just for like food and consuming things. And then I did the math on this website and I was like, okay, so if I need to hit 216 grams of protein, I need to have 3 protein shakes a day and eat 3 of their meals a day. That's it. Like, that's all, like every single day, just 3 protein shakes and 3 meals. I'm like, that's fantastic. I can do that. And then at the end of the month, paying like $650. I was like, wait a second, I'm actually saving money by doing it this way. But that's assuming that like I'm not also going out. So like today, I was like driving around, I grabbed like an In-N-Out burger. So that was like $10. But it was a burger, it was like a little burger. With this company, you're getting like an actual like meal. And it's you're hitting your calories, and it's like you're getting the protein, and they throw in some vegetables in there sometimes, which is pretty cool. You know, I try to mix it in with like the chicken because you don't want to just only eat just string beans or whatever. But like,
is this going to lead to us signing up for that company with your referral link?
if you want to, I like the main thing, like, as people are like, oh, I just rather like cook my own food. And it's like, you most certainly can. But it's like, I don't know, factor in the stuff with like the driving and this and that. It was just like, I'm not trying to do that. So you can either look at the company that like, as I'm saying it, I'm like, I need to get a deal with these guys. But I'm just saying like what I did was I used this one company. But now I'm about to look up because I was like, you made a good point there. I'm going to see who will pay me the most.
And we get benefits now. Like we sign up for this referral link, and then we get 3 of our friends, and they get 3 of their friends.
It's really like a lifestyle. What do they say? I don't know.
Look, you can be your own boss.
You can be your own boss. There you go. That's like the most. Oh man, that's too funny. At least I'm not trying to pitch selling your soul to liquid death. I don't even know. Yeah. I didn't even read the rest of that. I don't even know what the point of that thing was.
They give you a free t-shirt when you spend $50.
It's good to know what a soul's worth nowadays. Yeah. But yeah, so another thing you can do as well. I was doing this for a little while. This was before all the stuff that I was telling you guys here with like the 3 numbers and things like that. But I would go to like the frozen food section, and you just get, you know, the hungry man meals or whatever. You just take out something and try to see like if it's got a good amount of protein in it, because those things are normally around like $8 to $12, and it's super easy. You just pop it in the microwave and it's good to go. So you could do that route as well. But the only thing with those frozen meals is they do put like a lot of sodium in it to help, I guess, just like preserve the food more. But I recommend, shopping around for the different meal prep websites and things like that. There might be like the one that I use may not even be on the East Coast. I just realized too. And I do have a referral link thing, but they only take money off of it. Like they're not giving me money. They would just say I don't have to spend as much money with them. So, and then plus you guys would get like, I think it's like $150 off. And that's what I did. Someone told me about it. Or no, it was the ad. It was like, oh, sign up and $150 off. So I was like, oh yeah, I got like 2 weeks worth of food. I only spent like $50. It was pretty great. So they made like, just the whole thing super easy. 216 grams of protein, just 3 protein shakes, 3 meals. Bada bing, bada boom. And it was cool because like even during days where it's like I felt like extra hungry, because it still happens. It's like you gotta like apply the discipline a little bit and be like, no, I ate the meals, I'm good. I don't need like anything extra would just be that. It would be extra. Or like if you're not sure, like, oh, am I hitting like the proper numbers or not? It's like you just go back to that 3 and 3. At least that's what it was for me. So for you, Philly, if you said yours was like 200, then it's like, depending on the amount of grams of protein in the protein shake, it might just be like 2 protein shakes and 3 meals, or you could do 3 shakes and 2 meals. I know for this company on average, when I was looking at all their meals, each one came out to about like 40 grams of protein per meal. So that's how I got like the 3 for that. And you can kind of play with it a little bit. You could either have more protein
So
shakes.
how do I get how many calories to eat a day? Is that from the like, am I just supposed to be doing the 2000 from the earlier number?
Yeah, so it's 2000 and then you could subtract 300 from it. And that's like, that'll help you kind of get on the fast track there. Even then with like the calorie thing, I might step away for a second. I can grab one of the meals, but I just knew that like if I hit the protein number, I already knew I wouldn't go over the calories. So, because I think like one protein shake was 160
So we talking like 1750 calories a day with 200 grams of protein, within it, basically.
Yeah, because so each gram of protein is 4 calories. So we'll use yours.
So that's 800. So like 800 calories eaten up by that stuff, and then about like 900 from other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So like, let's see. I'll step away for a quick second. I'm going to grab one of the meals just to see what, because I think the calories per one of the meals is like 500 or 600. It's sad. My fridge is literally just beers that I don't drink and just these boxes and some sriracha as well. So this one's like salmon and it says it's like 600. This is like some sun-dried tomato chicken. It's like 640. And this is like shredded beef, which is like 610. So it's 12. So that's like 1800 calories. And then let's see. 1820. And then for the protein shakes, I know they're like 100, at least the brand that I have, it's like 160 calories. And if you wanted to look up the company that I use, it's called Factor. Just like, and then I do have the code where it's like you get $150 off. I could just like text it to you guys if you're wanted to look into using that. So at least when I did the math for mine, it says like 2,400 calories. And yeah, that like falls in line. So like I went to that website that I shared the link for, and at least like right now, I'm at a point where I'm sort of like working out every day. And it says so like for me, 2,750 calories, that's like maintenance. And anything less than that would be in the realm where it's like, okay, starting to use, not putting on fat So at like 2,400, that pretty much like lines up perfectly with the numbers.
Right. Cool. What else do you have to go through, Alec?
That's pretty much it. Like, I think like, well, obviously like the next part is definitely, talking about like the actual like fitness exercises and things like that. But that's like a whole other like realm of things. But the stuff that I shared with like these numbers and stuff and getting down to that point of like knowing the amount of protein you need to have each day was literally like the thing that saved me, at least in terms of like just not needing to worry about
Save your life.
saved my life. pulled me out from the
Well,
ditch.
dude, I appreciate the nutrition coaching. This is great.
Yeah, like because I'm telling like you could like working these numbers properly. Like it just goes back to the math. Like you technically, if you do the numbers right, you may not even need to like go to the gym or exercise, quote unquote. It would certainly it would certainly help. But
Yeah.
Can you get a six pack without working out?
that'd be crazy. If you guys do it, I will use you as advertisements everywhere. I got these people a six pack and they didn't even need to go to the gym. It's like
I wish. I just wish.
it could work. You could do the thing where like, because I've done it where I'm like, I go on like a walk or a hike and I check my watch and it's like, it says like close to, it'd be like 216 calories or something like that. Like if you just move and get your
Hey, how you doing?
how are you? Yeah, if you just like move and you have like a calorie counter thing or like a heart rate monitor and it says like you hit
Oh,
300
shit.
calories,
If
then
I work out 3 days a week, then I can eat like 300 more calories a day. I can get a full 2,000.
right, it makes it easier. I wouldn't do like their fat loss option. I don't like I don't know. I don't like how they did that number. I think you subtract 300 and then when you get like
Yeah, because
good
my maintenance,
exercises,
like if I'm working out 3 times a week, then my calories a day is 2,300.
23, cool, perfect, yeah. And then you get, if you were to eat 2,000 calories, then you're good. Like the protein part is like super like when you're doing like resistance training and stuff, it's super helpful. And it's just like better to like, I think it's just better to get in the habit of knowing which meals allow you to have the most protein. Because when you like, the hard thing with like losing body fat is that you will lose a bit of muscle mass as well. So the ideal is try to preserve as much as possible. So like when I did the desired weight thing, or when I was doing the numbers, I'm like, okay, if I'm 180, I'm trying to lose 15 pounds of fat. What would my weight be if I do that? And it said 165, and it's like, sweet, I'm 165 still. And like, I doubt I like lost enough muscle where it was mainly muscle mass being lost, if that makes sense. Like, because when you start losing muscle mass and it's like, it releases, I was going to go into this whole thing. It's like releases cortisol. It's these nasty, and then all these like different hormones and stuff. And it's a downward cascade of things. Cause it's like, you want to do this to build yourself up type of thing. There's a lot of stuff with like dieting and exercising and just trying to get in shape that's about cutting out and restricting. But this is more about like adding and enhancing. Like you're trying to find things that will build you up, that make you feel better and fuel you more. And that's why that thing that you realized where it's like, wait, if I go to the gym 3 times, or if I do exercise 3 times, I could actually eat more calories. And it's like, yes, that's it. You figured it out. Like that's the thing. It's like you want to, because like an object in motion tends to stay in motion. When you get to a point where you're doing exercises that you like, and then you start seeing the results, it just like starts building on top of itself. And when you go from working out 3 days a week to then finding ways where you can kind of sneak in maybe 4 or 5, then you could either just like be super disciplined and stay with the calories you're eating, or you can slightly adjust it, slightly increase the calories to better fuel yourself for those activities. And you'll be feeling better, looking better. And if anything, that would be the route that I'd recommend doing. Like if you're going to do the 3 workouts a week and you're doing the 2,000 calories, but then you want to do 5 days a week, jump back into that calculator, see what it says and then adjust for that. Because at that point, what you're eating and stuff is you can see it more as like fueling you to be able to perform better when you're exercising. So it's kind of like a cool shift that begins to happen where it's like, sure, like I love eating for fun, but then when it's like when the food becomes like the fuel so that you can perform better in the gym, then it's kind of like my protein shakes, they taste like unsalted pretzels, but it's supposed to be vanilla flavor. I don't know where they messed that up, but I don't even care. I'm like, I need the protein. So I chug it and I actually enjoy it because it's like, I know that it's that fuel that's going to help me recover and do the workouts better, things like that. But
yeah.
anyway.
So this is great. If you're going to do like, you want to do another day for like exercise stuff, I'll be down for that as well.
Cool. Yeah. I think I'm going to try to further dial, like I'll definitely still be like building something out for the workout stuff. Cause there's a lot of people out there where it's like, they're so performance based and
well,
like
whatever you're putting together here, like I'm down for like more. If you want to do more of the diet stuff, that's cool. You know, like if it just the thing you mentioned earlier that like you wanted to talk about like exercises, but you know, diet's cool. Diet's easy to watch.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Like, I mean, I definitely will be going into like the exercise side of things because it's kind of like if you're gonna be getting like really high quality like fuel, like gasoline for your car, or like changing the oil every time and this and that, but then it's like you know, may as well upgrade the parts of the car as well. And that's kind of like where the exercise thing. I need to do better with my car analogies. I'm not a car person. I haven't changed my blinker fluid in years. Oh.
I
But,
don't think we experience for that.
Your blinker fluid.
yeah. But yeah, are there
Right.
so it says Zoom says we got like 7 minutes left. I don't know if there's like any further like question stuff or like things you guys want to go more in depth on while we got some time left.
Yeah. I think I got what I need from it. I do need to jump in a second here. So but it was good to talk to you. Like you look like you're in your element. I look forward to hearing more about this.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm loving I was like, man, so many people have been saying, dude, get back into teaching the exercise stuff. And now I guess that's what I'm doing. But yeah, you guys got this. I literally like I'll send I'm gonna upload this somewhere, YouTube or something like that. I'll send you guys the link so you can rewatch it. But I think like action step stuff is when you get that protein number and you have the basal metabolic rate number, like whatever the maintenance number is, you subtract it by 300. Try to like plan out like it's when you're not doing the meal prep stuff, it's a little hard. Like you're definitely gonna need to put in more effort to plan out the meals. But that would be like the next thing is like figure out what meals you're gonna eat that'll help you hit that protein while also staying under the calories because it can be kind of tough. I'm just like that's why I went the route of this. They're like okay, like I just grabbed this one, 32 grams. What is this one? 42 grams, 39 grams. So it's like I already know like numbers are pretty good. And then if I'm running low in terms of like hitting that protein number, I'll just grab a protein bar, which is another great option. Or just like do another scoop for protein shake, things like that. But that would be the thing. Find the meals that allow you to hit that protein number and you are good as gold.
Yeah. Definitely. That's awesome. Yeah.
I think like lots of chicken and lots of salmon is going to be what'll help with that. Cool. All right, guys. Well, yeah, it was definitely great like catching up and stuff. I will let you know the updates on doing presentations for the exercise thing. Because that too doesn't need to be super complicated. Shoot, like if it was like, you know, I can't, if I'm doing 60-hour work weeks, I can't be like killing myself in the gym or being in the gym that long. So
that's right.
Yeah, so workouts are pretty simple. They just get you the results and then you can still go about your life, which is fantastic. You don't want to spend 2 hours in the gym. Trust me.
Sounds good, guys. Yep, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Felix. Bye.
Bye, David.
Bye.